How do you find the will to fight back against a world that wants to keep you sedated, average, and stuck in place? Join us for the tools and strategies you need to create a life of abundance, discipline, and high achievement. This is the Tactical Empire with Jeff Smith.
Welcome to another episode of the Tactical Empire. I am joined by none other than Shawn Rider. What is up, my man? How are you?
Good. I'm not going to bury the lead at all today. I am working hard. As people have heard on the previous episodes. Jeff and I are working on projects, building businesses. He's buying real estate. He's doing this, fixing up a storage unit, doing 5 houses from the ground up, whatever. Me and my wife opened up a brick and mortar business, whatever. How do we do that without getting burned out? Now, full transparency, the past 2 weeks have been crazy. Me and my wife needed to ask for a little bit more help. Luckily, we do have in-laws locally, her parents. But, the schedule was messed up. But it only took 2 weeks. And then we get back in our rhythm. We're finding things back to normal this week. But we've seen it. We've seen it in the inner circle, Jeff. Recently, again, we won't say names, but one gentleman new to the group, just been working hard, young guy, does have a spouse and a child, and building his business. And you would look at him, and he looks healthy. He's not overweight. Comes down with a little sickness, as a lot of people do this time of year. But his body's not shaking it. Some sicknesses are worse than others. Okay. But there's something to be said that if you can't recover from a sickness, it may not be because of the sickness. It may be because you've been grinding too hard, hustling too hard, pushing the limits too hard for too long without taking rest. And it just takes a quick Google search to see that burnout is on the rise, all generations, particularly the younger generation. There's more information out there than ever before. There's more, quote, things we should be doing. There's more things that we should be doing that other generations didn't even have to think about. And when we try and implement all those, that's going to lead to more burnout. So what is your opinion on burnout, and how do people handle it, Jeff Smith?
Yeah, man. This is a tough one because I think there's seasons where, like, I don't know. I am an old school thinker. I am more of an old school worker and frame of thought. Like, I think grit is an amazing thing to develop. I think resilience is something you need. There is no such thing as balance in life at all. And I think if you can't figure out how to appropriately integrate all the pieces of your life together, then you experience that. So, like, when I am pulled in certain directions and I get stressed and anxious, and like, that's what leads to burnout, in my opinion. And it's because you're not effectively managing each area of your life the way you need to be. And I think some of that comes from just wisdom and maturity and being in the game long enough to understand these types of things. And I mean, because when I was younger, I used to work, and I thought I was being productive. But in retrospect, it's laughable at how I spent my time and what I thought was productivity. Because it just wasn't, it was just a waste of time. I was being busy for the sake of being busy. And that's not benefiting any area of your life, really, when you're doing stuff like that. Now, I am not, as you know, like, I've been in some heated arguments within the last 18 months in certain groups that we were in, about, like, self-care. And I don't know. I don't think it's a dirty word by any means. I think you need to take care of yourself to a certain means, but, like, I'm not a huge fan of all this bullshit that, like, goes on, that you need a 5-hour morning routine and you need to go get mani-pedis and all this other shit and massages all the time. And you need 15 things in your weekly wellness routine just so you can function. Like you can, just like everything else, you can take it all overboard, right? So I'm in the middle. That's why I like being productive and like talking about critical tasks. I think people could do themselves a lot of good if they actually took the time to figure out what is meaningful activity versus what is just activity.
Mm. I think that's a great comment, and that does play into like what I've been thinking about it too. Is in my 20s, I had the time, I didn't have any responsibilities, and I worked my ass off. I quote grinded and hustled to build that first business, and then over the past couple years, I've quote as I'm a proponent of buying back my time, but
Mhm.
I can say that a lot of buying back my time was for personal time and also to be there for my kids and take some things off of my wife's plate because she does have a quote 9 to 5 that she loves. And so there's certain things that I don't want her to deal with when she gets home that, some people on the outside would be like, oh, Shawn, the man of the family, is doing this. That's unique. It's just something that I do. But with us getting back into business building, which we haven't built a business from scratch in a long time, one thing that I've recognized is uh, two things. One, there's certain things that I can cut out from my personal care or well-being regimen, cut back on or cut out completely. I haven't listened to a podcast in weeks, and I haven't read a book in weeks, and I'm cool with it. I don't think I need it right now. Right.
Yep.
I get personal development in other areas. I'm learning other things that are vital to what I need to be doing right now. Number one. Number two, it's been a long time since I've upticked the amount of focus work that I do in a day. And with that uptick, I haven't felt more tired.
Mm.
Definitely been productive. I've erred on the side of making sure that I'm keeping the main thing, and not get bogged down in just looking at the email inbox or opening up Instagram to see if there's another DM from a potential client. Like I've put those guardrails in place from the get go. But I agree with you. I mean, I like my personal time, but you know, I'm a big proponent of figuring out what enough is. Having too little of something and too much. You've heard me say that a million times. And just this current season and situation that I'm in, I now have seen that. Okay, well, yeah, I liked all that time that I had and the things I was doing, especially in regards to well being. But it was probably, now looking back, it's probably shaded on the too much, too much of
Mm.
something. So now I'm coming back more towards the middle of understanding what enough is. I'm not cold plunging every single day. I'm not, um, you know, uh, I'm keeping in regards to like I'm moving my body 5 to 6 days a week. I do take an extra rest day. I usually only rested like one full day. Now sometimes I will get that second full day of rest in. Psychologically, I still don't like it, but I'm learning that my body does. Or I'll just go super easy for 2 workouts instead of just one in the week. So that's like keeping the main thing the main thing. I've changed that. Um, I can get bogged down when it comes to well-being burnout, and particularly, I can get bogged down with. I know I'm good with the things that I eat, and I'm not a sweet freak, and I don't munch on candy. And if we have a movie night at home, like I'll literally have like a half a handful of popcorn. It's just what I've turned into. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I can go through these moments where I'm hyper vigilant about how often my kids are eating certain things like that, and so I've really had to work on taking a breath and just let them be kids and let them be okay with on the way to school this morning. In particularly, my son was eating straight out of a bag of uh, fun popcorn. I mean, it wasn't just straight popcorn. It was like one of the fun bags of popcorn that had like chocolate drizzle and shit on it. And I'm like, I looked at the sugar content on it and I just bit my tongue and I'm like, fuck, this is his breakfast today. But yesterday his breakfast was protein pancakes and Fairlife chocolate milk. So he got plenty of protein yesterday. And I know he's going to have a good lunch. And so like, I just have to be cognizant of when I think the comment you made about when it's creating stress, that's when you have to be aware
Mm.
of is it do I have to cut back on the time or I have to cut back on the attention that I'm giving this thing? And for me, sometimes it's both. I'm cutting back on time of certain things right now, and I'm cutting back on the attention I give certain things right now to help me avoid burnout, in particularly around the holidays too. I mean, this is just a
Yeah.
very unique time of year. But anything stick out to you as I kind of ramble about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I think that, and I am not opposed because, like you, I am huge on, I will trade my money for my time all day long because while I'm trying to make a lot of money, I also will not budge on the ability to buy my time back. And so the problem I think that goes on in these communities when people discuss this thing is like there is no avoiding the necessary work to get you to the point where you can buy back your time. And and the thing that I think people and the reason that I've been in heated arguments about this particular topic with therapists and other people is because I think that if you step into a business owner's room, a room of business owners, and you don't like lay it out properly to them, I think you're doing them a disservice. There is a level of work that has to be done. And it's the critical work to move your business forward, project work, meaningful work, not busy work. And before you can actually get that space. So like if you're willing to invest the time to do the necessary work to get your business to the point where maybe you have to live in a manner or method that is uncomfortable for you for a couple months, let's say a quarter, you've got to spend a quarter doing things you don't want to do, being uncomfortable so that you can spend the next 3 years cold plunging till your heart's content, like doing whatever makes you fucking happy as can be, right? Like, I think that's where certain people that are preaching this shit miss the mark. Like, sometimes as a business mentor, a business coach, I've coached thousands of business owners. I have a unique ability to identify the things that you are avoiding that can give you 80% of your time back if you are willing to do that thing for 3 months and finish it. And like that's the part that I argue with the delay of like self-care and shit like that, because it's an investment that's necessary. And if you focus on this self-care component in your morning routine or whatever we're talking about, I'm not trying to dilute the podcast so people just tune out, but like whatever it is, the longer that you focus on your self-care side of things and avoid the meaningful work that's necessary to get done, it's just going to drag along and you're never getting closer to that dream life that you would like, because you're always sitting there like, yes, you may cold plunge, you may do your routine, you may do all this stuff, but in the back of your head, what I talked about at the beginning, that anxiety, that stress, it's sitting there. It's sitting there. And you may think you're getting better or feeling better about it, but why drag something on for 2.5 years that could take 3 months to finish? And then it's a system that's in place that you can now change your life and live differently. It's just like financial freedom. I mean, we're teaching a system and a structure to invest your money, to buy back your time so that you can have options and freedom to do whatever you want. And so I see business owners all the time waste time on self-care and they waste time on education. And I say this as a person who has wasted time on self-care and a person who has wasted a shitload of time on education. I am a mental masturbator from way back regarding like consuming every possible funnel building course, consuming every possible mastermind, consuming every possible thing. But at the end of the day, the only thing that puts money in my pocket is the fucking action that I take. So like, I don't need to read one more book. I don't need to hear one more unique concept. That's what I love about the structure that we have put in place at the Tactical Empire more than anything. It's kind of like, it's just a framework to follow, and it's not fast and it's not sexy. And I don't promise you anything, but I do promise you a completely different life in a couple of years if you're just willing to step down that road for a minute.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I didn't think about that. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because, like, going into this year, and I put it in the annual plan for my family, I'm not going to have a mentor or therapist outside of the Tactical Empires inner circle. I'm not going to any meetups. I'm not taking any courses because I know right now in this part of my life, I need to do the damn thing. And I'm talking about metabolic in particular in the Tactical Empire. Like, I just need to stay focused on the businesses that I'm building and not think about the new shiny object. And so I've dedicated myself to just be hyper focused on these and not get distracted. And I think that's so right of you because people are like, well, now you're not going to learn. You're not open to learning. You're going to be stuck in, and like, and especially from someone that runs the Tactical Empire, it's like, we can say the same things over and over again. I'm like, well, I come from other mentor groups where every time you talk to them, they have a new strategy. And you go to these meetups and they have new speakers teaching new shit. And I'm like, we haven't even had time to let the previous shit marinate and have the fruits of our labors go. Like, some of these things just need time. And you don't need that many fucking strategies to be successful, whether it's building the business or going to well-being. Because I saw a statistic that like 50% of people that are into health and fitness do acknowledge that there's well-being burnout right now. And it's true because you can't open Instagram without someone telling you can't eat this fucking like name brand cereal because it's got 20 different seed oils. I don't eat cereal anymore. Okay. I love the flavor of it. I just don't eat it. But like, I don't need to see that 1,000 times on my Instagram. And then it makes me start thinking about the 20 other things that I'm eating that might have something hidden in it. Like, at the end of the day, I work out 5 to 6 days a week. I fucking eat real food most of the time. And I sleep 8 hours and I go outside and I don't sit 8 hours at a desk job. Like, I think I'm pretty fucking good when it comes to my health. I don't need to worry about all the chemicals. I care about the chemicals that are in my shit, but I don't care. I don't have to care about all of them all of the time. And it's the same thing with your businesses. Don't care about all the shit people are trying to teach you and sell you. Just go do the damn thing. Do what works, but do it more and do it better, right? This comes back to my presentation at the meetup. Cut the bullshit. Okay. Not only the bullshit that you're wasting time on, cut all the bullshit that you think you need to learn and just master the basics of your business. Okay. People need to know about your business. They need to understand the step you want them to take. You need to be able to sell people and show them how you solve a problem that they're having. And then you need to control the money of your business. Like, that's it. Marketing, sales, money, and then being good at the thing. Those are the 4 things that I've reduced my businesses down to. Do people hear about us? Do they understand what we are? Do they know what action I want them to take? Can I sell them on it? And do we control the money, the flow of the money? And are we actually good at what we do? Like, other than that, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
That's what I gotta say about that.
Yep. Well, I mean, and I think you're right that there is the well-being burnout thing is funny because it can make you over. It's like watching the news. Like, you just check your Instagram feed and you're sitting there crushing a protein bar and that protein bar is on the reel and it's like, do you know you're eating arsenic right now? And I'm like, fuck, I'm eating arsenic. Like,
Yeah.
I thought this was healthy. I spent $3 extra on it, so it was healthy. And like, yeah, I mean, you could literally work yourself into like a neurotic frenzy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and same thing with cold plunging. Like, there's a group of people that think it's the healthiest thing in the world, and then you can go see articles where they're like, it will kill you in 3 weeks if you cold plunge 3 times a day for 3 weeks. It like you can. It's confirmation bias wherever you want it and wherever you want to look. And at the end of the day, it's all just noise. Because
I
like
have.
what is meaningful is within your 4 walls, and then what's going into your bank account.
I do have to laugh at that because I basically cold plunged every single morning for just shy of a year, and then I cut it back from the meetup. Talked to one of the guys that's really into this stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't have to be every day." So then that gave me permission to just enjoy my coffee without shivering beforehand. So I cut back to like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then either Saturday or Sunday. I use my discretion on the weekend. I do sauna pretty much every day. I do like the sauna. It's just sitting in there in 20. We got one of those for 20 minutes in the basement. What was I going to say about that? Um, but then I went to lunch with someone the other day, and we were talking about this same shit, and they were like, I saw someone else on this podcast, super smart guy, and he's basically saying that now it's if you just cold plunge 10 days in a row, you could take the next 20 off. And I was like, well, that's fucking okay. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Fuck that. But it's funny because it went from daily to every other day to is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Is it 50 degrees? Is it 30 degrees? Oh, now just do it 10 days and then take a 20-day break, and it'll be just as good as every day. I'm like, whatever. I'll just stick to what makes me happy, and that'll be more. There will be more utility in what makes me feel good about what I'm doing than what the 20 articles say to or fro of a certain topic.
Well, I'll tell you what will make you feel the best as a business owner, a father, and a husband is if you actually do the shit you say you're going to do and you go out and kick ass at it and make a fuckload of money. You're going to feel like a fucking hero.
Yeah.
And so like maybe that's the advice everyone needs to hear. You know what? You go out and you kick ass and you fucking achieve all your goals, and you don't need to cold plunge. You don't need massages. You don't need any of it because you're on top of the world because you did what you said you were going to do, and you're kicking ass and living the life you said you were going to.
There, someone go write a study, an article on that shit and clickbait the title so we can get credit for just go win. Go win in 2025. Do the things that you need to do to build the life that you want. Some of that does include well-being shit, but a lot of that includes just doing the damn work. And that's how we're going to avoid burnout in 2025. Jeff, send the people out.
Yeah, it's time to win. It's time to win big. All right, guys, follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Give us a subscribe if you want. We've got over 500 videos out there, I think now, 400 videos for sure. Thanks for joining us on this episode. If you want to join the Tactical Empire community, we answer a lot of questions in there. We do periodic webinars. We probably see a lot more of those going into the next year. We're going to try to provide more value for you guys and help you guys win. We got a book coming out in the beginning of next year that lays out the framework that we advise for you to pursue. You take your profits and turn it into prosperity and freedom for you and your family. So hit us up if you have any questions. We'd love to help you, and have a great day. Kick ass this week.